Welcome to the channel. Imagine a rifle designed to win a war that was already over. That's the story of the French MAS Model 36. Adopted in 1936 to replace France's aging Lebel and Berthier rifles, it was a short, rugged bolt action meant for World War I-style trench fighting. In fact, it was meant for the war that France had fought and won in 1918, only to arrive on the battlefield as France was losing World War II. It even earned a wry nickname as the rifle that was never fired, only dropped once. France had learned hard lessons from the Great War. By the 1930s, they wanted a new infantry rifle, shorter and lighter than the old 1886 Lebel, which was almost 4.5 feet long. Designers took inspiration from others, the British Short Lee Enfield, or SMLE, and the American 1917 Enfield, among others. The result was a compact carbine-style battle rifle only about 40 inches long, over a foot shorter than France's previous standard. It fired the modern 7.5 by 54 millimeter rimless cartridge, a shorter version of a machine gun round, and was built like a tank. Quote, ugly, roughly made, but immensely strong and reliable. The MAS 36 wasn't about fancy gadgets. It was plain and brutal. Let's break down its quirks and features. Short and compact. Just over 40 inches long, much shorter than older French rifles. This made it far handier in tight trenches or on armored vehicles. Internal 5-round magazine. It held 5 rounds in a fixed box magazine, topped up with stripper clips. Carrying spare rounds was easy, but reloading was by clip. Bolt action with forward handle. The bolt is a dogleg design, pointing forward instead of back. The idea was to tuck the bolt handle closer to the shooter's hand for a fast cycle. It looks a bit awkward, but soldiers found the action quite smooth. It certainly got attention. Even its museum tag calls it unusual. No safety lever. Unusually, the MAS 36 has no external safety catch. French drill was stripped. Soldiers kept the chamber empty until the officer ordered fire. This meant the rifle was very simple, but a bit nerve-wracking by modern standards. Built-in socket bayonet. Instead of a sheathed sword bayonet, it came with a 17-inch spike stored in a tube under the barrel. Whenever the soldier needed it, he simply pulled it out and stuck it on. No separate bayonet to lose. Cleverly, every rifle always had its own bayonet attached. These features made the MAS 36 a brutally effective tool. The 2-piece beechwood stock and slab-sided steel receiver were sturdy and easy to produce. Its sights were simple. A peep rear on a ladder graduated 100 to 1,200 meters, and a protected front post. The whole gun was not pretty, but as one French engineer put it, the goal was a service rifle that was immensely strong and reliable. In practice, the MAS 36 earned the reputation as one of the toughest bolt actions of its era. By 1940, France was rushing these rifles to the front, but not fast enough. Only about 250,000 MAS 36 rifles were available when the Germans invaded in May 1940. Many French units were still stuck with the old Lebel or Berthier. The MAS 36 tended to go to frontline and colonial troops, while rear and unprepared units waited longer for supplies. 2/3 of French infantry didn't even have one when the lines broke. When France collapsed, the MAS 36 rifle spread around in an odd way. Both sides ended up using it. Vichy French units kept using whatever MAS 36s they had, and Free French partisans grabbed the rest. Some MAS 36s fled to Britain with Dunkirk evacuees. Those rifles were passed to de Gaulle's Free French, while older rifles went to the British Home Guard. The Germans confiscated many MAS 36s too, designating them Gewehr 242F, Because the ammo was unusual, most German troops didn't use them. They mostly ended up stored, or handed out to Volkssturm militia in 1945. Meanwhile, Free French forces in North Africa and the Levant also carried MAS-36s as they joined the Allies. In short, this rifle saw action on all sides of the conflict. It's true that MAS-36 earned a jokey reputation for doing almost nothing in 1940. Never fired, only dropped once became a famous taunt, a jab at how quickly France fell. But that overlooks the rest of the story. Many French soldiers did keep fighting after 1940 with this rifle, and it wasn't exactly fragile. In fact, after the war, all remaining MAS-36s were turned back into French service. Reformed Free French gave them up to the new French army. The rifle even soldiered on in training use until the late 1970s. In other words, don't count the MAS-36 out just because it got adopted for the wrong war. The MAS-36 proved rugged enough for desert and jungle. Soldiers liked its reliability and light recoil. Ironically, it was never meant for M16s and dragon skin. It was built for trench mud and Mauser 98s. Yet it handled the Sahara sands and the rubber plantations of Indochina admirably. As historian Peter Succi notes, the MAS-36 has maintained a reputation as one of the most robust rifles of the era. The MAS-36 platform even spawned variants for special needs. The MAS-36 CR-39 was a paratrooper model with an aluminum folding stock, shortened overall length for jumping out of planes. In 1951, a grenade-launching version called the MAS-36-51 was adopted. It had a spigot on the muzzle and folding grenade sights to lob rifle grenades. By the late 1950s, the MAS-36 was gradually replaced by newer designs, the semi-automatic MAS-49 family. But it had already done an impressive tour of duty across many lost wars. After Algeria, it remained in colonial garrisons and National Guard units. Ultimately, the MAS-36 stayed in French service into the early 1960s and lingered in training until 1978. It was even the basis for later sniper rifles. The French FR-F1 and FR-F2 precision rifles used essentially the MAS-36 action. The FR-F2 is still in service today.